It was a Sunday, July 7th, 2025. The kind of lazy, sun-drenched afternoon that defines a Midwestern summer. In Brookfield, Illinois, 7-year-old Mason Carrillo played in his front yard, his golden retriever Buddy chasing a red ball. His mother, Sarah, watched from the kitchen preparing lemonade. Mason's laughter filled the air, until it didn't. Sarah turned away for just a moment. When she looked back, Mason was gone. The yard was still. The red ball lay in the grass. Silence replaced laughter. At first, Sarah thought he was hiding. She called his name, expecting him to pop out. No answer, only the wind in the trees. She stepped outside, searching the yard, the garage, the backyard. Nothing. The world outside continued its lazy rhythm, but for the Carrillo family, time had stopped. The lemonade sat forgotten. The sun kept shining. But a shadow had fallen over their home. The ordinary had become the unthinkable. Sarah's calls grew frantic, echoing down the street. No signs of a struggle, no dropped toys except the red ball. It was as if Mason had vanished into thin air. Neighbors emerged, drawn by Sarah's cries, but no one had seen anything. The silence was wrong, a void where a child should have been. The nightmare had begun. The police would soon arrive, but in that moment, all that remained was a mother's terror and a missing boy. The Carrillo family's world had changed forever. The sun set on a day that would never end for them. The search for Mason Carrillo had begun, and the silence was just the beginning. The first 911 call came at 4:17 p.m. Police arrived within minutes, transforming the Carrillo home into a crime scene. Officers and neighbors searched yards, sheds, and alleys, calling Mason's name into the dusk. A neighbor recalled seeing a man in a blue hoodie, face hidden, walking slowly down the street around the time Mason vanished. No security cameras caught him. He was a ghost. As night fell, hope began to fray. Then, a clue. Buddy was found miles away, near an industrial park, alone, confused but unharmed. Nearby, Mason's small brown shoe lay in the weeds. A piece of silver duct tape stuck to the sole. The tape was forensically clean. No prints, no DNA. Detective Miller took the case, but there were no leads, no ransom note, no witnesses. The man in the blue hoodie remained a phantom. The search hit a wall. The only evidence: a lost shoe, a silent dog, and a family's growing dread. The community's hope faded as the night deepened. Mason was gone, and no one knew how or why. Weeks turned to months. The police tape came down, but the Carrillo home was changed forever. Sarah and David kept Mason's room untouched, a museum of lost childhood. Then, the letters began. No return address, postmarked from different cities, written in a spidery scrawl. They weren't ransom notes, they demanded nothing. "He is safe," one read. "He misses his dog." Another, "He likes the stars where he is now." The letters were forensically clean. No clues, just pain. The family's grief deepened. Sarah replayed that Sunday, haunted by the moment she turned away. Detective Miller kept Mason's photo on his desk, a promise unfulfilled. The letters were the worst part, a cruel game by an unseen tormentor. The case had no suspect, no motive, no end in sight. The whispers from the mail offered no comfort, only darkness. The Carrillos lived in a prison of uncertainty. The community watched, helpless. The silence grew heavier, and the questions multiplied. Years passed. The case of Mason Carrillo grew cold. The man in the blue hoodie was never found. The letter's author remained a mystery. Mason's disappearance became a local legend, a warning whispered among parents. Investigators noticed a pattern. Other children had vanished in similar ways, but no connections could be proven. For the Carrillos, there was no moving on, only the slow ache of loss. Each year they held a vigil on Mason's birthday, lighting candles for a boy who never came home. The crowd grew smaller, but the pain remained. Their hope became a quiet prayer for answers. Who was the man in the blue hoodie? Who wrote the letters? Where is Mason? Sometimes there are no answers, only the enduring pain of loss, and a silence that speaks volumes. In the wake of Mason Carrillo's disappearance, the story splintered. Each witness saw something different, remembered something else. The truth, it seemed, was as elusive as Mason himself. "I was watering my plants, just like every Sunday. I saw a blue hoodie near the mailbox. He looked lost, or maybe he was watching. I'm sure it was afternoon. Or maybe earlier. It's hard to remember now. I heard a car door slam and someone shout. Could have been Mason or someone else. There was this white van parked down the street all week. Weird, right? But nobody else noticed it. He came in for candy, just a regular kid. He smiled. Someone was outside, pacing. I thought it was his brother. But Mason didn't have a brother, did he? He said he got a letter. It was a secret. He was supposed to meet somebody, but he wouldn't tell me who. I wish I made him tell me. Every statement, a piece of the puzzle, yet none fit perfectly. Details clashed, timelines blurred. The neighborhood's collective memory, shaped by fear and guilt, left the truth just out of reach. And so, the mystery deepened. Woven from fragments, colored by grief, and haunted by questions that may never find answers. Inside the police station, the air is thick with tension. Audio waveforms flicker across a monitor as detectives replay the same snippet again and again. A muffled shout, a car door, then silence. Snippets of interrogation echo over visuals of grim evidence boards, photos of Mason, a crumpled blue hoodie, a blurry image of a white van. Detective 1, clipped voice. Where were you Sunday afternoon? Witness 1, nervous. I told you I was at home, I didn't see anything. Not really. Detective 2, pressing. You said you saw someone near the mailbox, was it Mason? Witness 1, voice trembling. I don't know, maybe. The camera lingers on a red string connecting suspects. Neighbors, delivery drivers, even a teacher, each face marked with a question mark. A detective pins a new note. Candy store alibi, confirmed. Detective 3, frustrated. The van wasn't registered to anyone in the neighborhood. Dead end. Detective 1, run the plates again, somebody's lying. A tense exchange in the hallway. A detective whispers, it doesn't add up, the timelines don't fit. Another, he said he got a letter. Where's the letter? The evidence board grows crowded, timelines overlap, witness statements contradict, and every answer opens a new set of questions. As the music swells, the camera zooms in on a single overlooked clue, a torn envelope, half hidden beneath a stack of reports. The case is colder than ever, but inside these walls the hunt for truth has only just begun. Inside a dimly lit evidence room, the hum of fluorescent lights is broken by the click of a recorder. A detective, hands gloved, presses play on a newly discovered voicemail. Static fills the air, then a distorted voice, unidentifiable, almost childlike, whispers, "You'll never find him where you're looking." The audio distorts, ending with a chilling laugh that echoes in the silence. The camera cuts to a gloved hand unsealing an evidence bag. Inside, a crudely drawn sketch, lines jagged and rushed. The drawing shows a figure standing beneath a street lamp, eyes hollow, a van lurking in the background. The detective's fingers tremble as they flip the paper. On the back, a date scrawled in red ink, the day Mason vanished. Suddenly a shout from the far end of the room. Another officer holds up a small, familiar piece of fabric, a strip from Mason's blue hoodie, found stuffed into the lining of a janitor's cart, far from any search grid. The camera lingers on the torn cloth, then pans to shadowy figures watching from behind a frosted glass window. As evidence bags multiply and the clues grow stranger, a sense of unease settles over the precinct. Every new discovery raises more questions than answers, and in the growing darkness, the truth feels further away than ever. As midnight settles over the precinct, the investigation takes an unexpected turn. Security footage, previously dismissed as corrupted, flickers to life on a dusty monitor. The grainy black and white video shows the evidence room hours before the recent discoveries. A shadowy figure, face obscured by a hood, moves with uncanny precision, placing the strip of blue fabric into the janitor's cart. The detective leans closer, heart pounding. Suddenly the figure pauses, turning directly toward the camera. For a split second the monitor glitches, distorting the face into something almost inhuman, eyes unnaturally wide, mouth twisted in a silent scream. The screen goes black. Elsewhere, a forensic analyst sifts through the voicemail's audio file, isolating a background sound, a faint music box melody, the same tune Mason's mother used to play at bedtime. The detective's mind races. Was this a taunt from someone close to the family, or something far stranger? As dawn approaches, the precinct is restless. Suspicions swirl around a former janitor with no alibi, but his file reveals he vanished weeks before Mason did. The final shot lingers on the crude sketch from the evidence bag, now pinned to a corkboard. In the drawing, the hollow-eyed figure beneath the street lamp seems to move, its shadow stretching ever longer as the camera slowly fades to black. The mystery deepens. The answers remain just out of reach, and somewhere in the darkness someone, or something, still watches. Years slip by. The case grows colder, its details fading into rumor, until one night the silence is broken. A woman in her 60s, pale and anxious, walks into the precinct. Her name is Evelyn Carter, a former neighbor who vanished from town shortly after Mason's disappearance. Miss Carter, can you tell us why you've come forward now? I couldn't sleep anymore. Not after what I saw, I was afraid. But I kept something all these years. She slides a small, sealed evidence bag across the table. Inside, a rusted key, wrapped in faded blue ribbon. "Where did you find this?" "In the alley behind my apartment." The night Mason vanished, I heard music, like a music box. I saw someone standing under the street lamp holding a bundle. When they left, I found the ribbon and key on the ground. Let the record show. Witness has produced a physical object potentially connected to the Mason case. "Miss Carter, did you recognize the person you saw?" Not really, but their eyes. They looked straight at me, like they knew I was there. I never told anyone. I was scared they'd come for me too." The interview transcript, now part of the official record, reopens the investigation. Forensic teams examine the key. It matches a lockbox listed in Mason's missing belongings file. One thought lost forever. With a witness returned and a new clue in hand, the case is no longer cold. But as old secrets thaw, so do long-buried fears. The truth may be closer than anyone ever imagined. For Erica Mason, nights are the hardest. Grief is a houseguest who never leaves, settling into the quiet corners of her home, shadowing every memory. Even as the years pass, she clings to the hope that the phone might ring, that answers might finally come. Detective Ramirez has never let the Mason case go. It haunts him, a puzzle with missing pieces, a promise he made to a mother in pain. His obsession is both a burden and a beacon, guiding him through endless nights of unanswered questions. Erica's hand trembles as the phone rings, shattering the silence. She hesitates, then picks up. "Hello, you don't know me, but you need to listen. The key is just the beginning. He left you something you never found." "Who is this? What do you mean? Is Mason? Is my son? He loved you. He wanted you to know the truth. Look inside the old music box, the one from his room, before it's too late." The line clicks. Erica stares at the phone, tears welling as hope and dread war within her. For Erica and Detective Ramirez, the case is no longer just a file or a memory. It's alive, breathing through cryptic calls and clues left behind. As Erica rushes to her son's room across town, Ramirez's phone lights up with a new lead. The night has brought more than echoes. It has brought the promise of answers and the fear of what those answers might reveal. As the music plays, the investigation surges forward, driven by a mother's love and a detective's relentless pursuit. The truth is close, closer than ever before. As the first light of dawn spills across the city, Erica Mason stands in her son's room, the old music box trembling in her hands. She opens it, and inside, beneath the faded velvet lining, she finds a small, folded letter, Mason's handwriting, shaky but unmistakable. Her breath catches as she reads the words he left behind, a goodbye, a confession, and a plea for forgiveness. Mason had uncovered something dangerous, a secret tied to people he once trusted. Fearing for his family's safety, he vanished, leaving clues behind for the truth to one day surface. Across town, Detective Ramirez pores over the new evidence, a key, a confession from a long silent witness, and files that had been hidden away for years. As the pieces fall into place, the story emerges. Mason's disappearance was orchestrated by those he tried to expose, but his courage, and the perseverance of those who loved him, finally brought the truth into the light. Stock footage of sunrise washes over the city as Erica, tears streaming down her face, embraces the truth and the hope that Mason's sacrifice was not in vain. The Carrillo family gathers, holding each other close, the weight of years finally lifting. Detective Ramirez closes the case file, his promise kept. Outside, the world moves on, but for those touched by Mason's story, the dawn is more than a new day. It's a second chance, a chance for healing, for justice, and for peace. As the music swells, the camera lingers on the reunited family, sunrise illuminating their faces. The echoes of the past give way to the promise of tomorrow. The story is no longer about loss. It's about love's unbreakable bond and the truth that endures, even through the darkest night. But as the first rays of hope pierce the horizon, a new shadow falls across the Carrillo family's fragile peace. In the silent hours before dawn, a mysterious figure, face obscured, movements measured, slips through the city's back alleys. This stranger, once entwined with Mason's past, now resurfaces, bearing a weathered envelope and a cryptic warning. The story isn't over. Stock footage flickers of security camera footage, a gloved hand sliding the envelope beneath Erica's door. Inside, new evidence, photographs, coded messages, and a list of names long thought forgotten. Detective Ramirez, just as he closes the file, is summoned back to the precinct. Witnesses, once silent, now recount chilling encounters, anonymous calls, shadowy threats, and the unmistakable feeling of being watched. As investigators sift through the fresh clues, a hidden network begins to unravel, layers of deception that reach deeper than anyone imagined. The Carrillo family, once united in hope, now faces fresh threats that test their resolve and trust. The city itself seems to hold its breath, as the line between friend and foe blurs. The tension builds, each revelation more dangerous than the last. The truth, once within reach, now slips further away, entangled in a web of secrets that refuse to stay buried. And as the music swells, the camera pans to the mysterious figure, watching from the shadows, a silent promise that the past is never truly gone, and the fight for justice is far from over. The relentless ring of an anonymous call cuts through the static of midnight. Detective Ramirez, eyes heavy with exhaustion, listens intently as a disguised voice whispers a string of numbers, coordinates perhaps, or a code only the past can unlock. Erica clutches a crumpled note, its meaning as elusive as the sender, while another message arrives, this one a chilling riddle etched into a photograph from Mason's childhood. Guided by these cryptic clues, the detectives navigate rain-soaked streets to the outskirts of town. There, shrouded in mist and memory, stands a long-abandoned building, its windows dark, its doors sealed by rust and time. As Ramirez and his partner pry open the entrance, the beam of their flashlights dances across forgotten relics and peeling wallpaper, revealing a hidden room behind a false wall. Inside, the air is thick with dust and dread, scattered across a battered table. Mason's favorite toy, a diary with pages torn out and a collection of photographs, faces circled, dates scribbled in haste. Among the evidence, a series of taped confessions plays on an old recorder, voices of those who once held Mason close, now warped by guilt and years of silence. The Carrillo family, summoned to the scene, stands transfixed by the revelations. Old wounds reopen as secrets spill into the light, betrayals, regrets, moments never spoken of until now. Tears flow freely as Erica realizes that the truth about Mason's disappearance is more complex and more devastating than she ever imagined. As dawn breaks outside, the family and detectives are left with more questions than answers. The building, a silent witness to years of pain, holds a final message. Some truths are hidden not to protect the guilty, but to shield the innocent from heartbreak. Yet, the search for justice must go on, even as it threatens to tear the Carrillo family apart. The camera lingers on Erica's trembling hands, the detectives' haunted faces, and the evidence that challenges everything they thought they knew. In the shadows, the mysterious figure watches, knowing the real story is only just beginning to unfold. The morning after the revelations at the abandoned house brings no comfort, only fresh wounds. News of the discoveries spreads like wildfire, igniting whispers and fear throughout the town. In the cramped war room of the precinct, Detective Ramirez pores over the evidence, exhaustion etched into every line of his face. Suddenly a realization strikes, a pattern hidden in the confessions, a familiar handwriting on one of the photos. The clues point to someone close, someone they all trusted. As the detectives confront their ally, Officer Marquez, who's been by their side since day one, the truth unravels in gut-wrenching detail. Marquez's voice trembles as he confesses to tampering with evidence, pressured by secrets he swore to protect. The betrayal shatters what little trust remains, rippling through the community. Friends turn to strangers, neighbors question one another. Outside the precinct, the Carrillo family faces angry crowds and relentless reporters. Erica clings to her brother's hand, her eyes brimming with hope and fear. The detectives, now racing against time, realize the cover-up is bigger than they imagined, and that someone else may be in danger. As thunder rolls in the distance, the investigation reaches a fever pitch. Every second counts. The camera lingers on Ramirez's determined gaze, Erica's silent prayers, and Marquez's anguished confession. The line between justice and vengeance blurs, and the entire town holds its breath, waiting for the next twist in a story that refuses to end. In the darkness, a new threat emerges, proving that even when the truth comes to light, shadows are never far behind. Night settles over the courthouse, its windows glowing against the darkness, a beacon for a town longing for answers. Inside, the Carrillo family sits in the front row, hands clasped tightly, hearts pounding with hope and fear. Detective Ramirez stands before the court, facing the orchestrator of so much pain, his voice steady as he lays bare the truth. The confrontation is raw, secrets exposed, guilt confessed, and the weight of years finally lifted. Accusations give way to tears, and tears to forgiveness, as the Carrillos find the strength to let go of anger. The truth at last stands in the light, unflinching, undeniable, and freeing. The family embraces, relief and sorrow mingling as they realize the nightmare is finally over. Their faces reflect the ache of loss but also the first glimmer of peace. As the final confession echoes, the courtroom breathes out, a chapter closed. Outside, the community gathers, candles flickering in the night, united in remembrance and hope. Sorrow and healing mingle as neighbors hold hands, forging a path forward together. Officer Marquez, burdened by regret, is led away, his silence broken, his secrets no longer a shadow over the town. The crowd is hushed, absorbing the cost of truth and the price of justice. Justice is served, but the scars remain, a reminder of all that was lost, and all that was found. Erica steps forward, her voice trembling, offering forgiveness that ripples through the room and out into the night. Her words bring comfort, a balm for wounds that may never fully heal. The camera sweeps across the faces in the crowd, some tearful, some angry, all forever changed by the truth. Tears fall for what was lost, anger lingers for what can never be undone, but hope rises for what lies ahead. On the courthouse steps, Ramirez stands in the dawn, the burden of the case finally lifting from his shoulders. In his eyes there is peace, a promise kept, a family restored. As the sun rises, the Carrillos return home, their house no longer haunted by fear but filled with the light of new beginnings. They embrace, holding each other close, the weight of years finally giving way to hope. In the evidence room, a sealed file remains, its secrets a quiet echo of the past. Some questions may never be answered, but the story has found its peace. The tale ends not with perfect closure, but with the promise that love and truth endure, even as shadows linger. The screen fades to black, leaving behind the memory of a family reunited, a community healing, and a detective who never gave up. In the morning light, hope rises, reminding us that even after the darkest night, a new day always comes.